Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continues to reject international pressure to halt the Gaza war, even using a Holocaust Remembrance ceremony to brush off calls over the weekend. Let's turn to Professor Paik Seunghoon for more. Welcome.
Hello, nice to have you. Yeah, nice to meet you. Hi.
Thanks for joining us. And Netanyahu made a rare pledge in English during his speech at the Holocaust Remembrance Day event over the weekend. What does he mean by if Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone?
Netanyahu's remark underscores his commitment to defending Israel and making independent decisions regarding its security and foreign policy, irrespective of international pressure of criticism. So by invoking the memory of Holocaust, Prime Minister Netanyahu likely aims to emphasize Israel's historical need to safeguard its sovereignty and security, even if it means the measure will be relying on its own capabilities. So his speech at Holocaust Remembrance Day literally means that Israel will not halt fighting in Gaza until it defeats Hamas, no matter how much pressure is brought to stop the war. But we have to consider that this response came out right after the International Criminal Court in The Hague announced that they could issue arrest warrants for some of Israel's top officials, including Netanyahu. So there's a domestic political reason behind to get the support within Israel and maintain high morale of Israel Defense Forces. So it is behind the context that leads Netanyahu to make this kind of speech at the Holocaust Remembrance Day.
So this persistence stemming from domestic issues that Netanyahu is pretty concerned of. Now, the Israeli military, in fact, began evacuating Palestinian civilians from Rafah because of the assault in the region. Now, will the attack be less devastating considering the civilians will be moved out?
Okay. In certain degree, yes. But however, it reminds me of Second Battle of Fallujah, which broke out November 2004 during the U.S. occupation of Iraq. So even most of Fallujah's civilian population was evacuated before the battle began. I mean, back then, U.S. military officials estimated that 70 to 90% of 300,000 civilians in the city was evacuated. 800 plus civilians were killed during the operation. So in Rafah, there is estimated 1.2 million people are sheltering in the southern cities of Gaza. So thus, even the evacuation process of Israel Defense Forces are well executed. Civilian casualty is inevitable. So yeah, maybe massive masquerade could be restricted, but the civilian casualty of Palestinians are inevitable.
Definitely. While the offensive in the region continues by Israeli military forces, the result of ceasefire talks in Cairo this time really appears to be highly up to Israel. I mean, what's Netanyahu's logic here?
I mean, Israel logic, Netanyahu logic is very simple. So this war, Israel-Hamas war, is to eliminating the Hamas, whether it's feasible or not. Well, because a lot of experts say it's impossible task to eliminate the Hamas, but Israel will deny approving Hamas as a partner for any reconstruction plan with Palestinians afterwards. So the basic logic, eliminating the Hamas, and Hamas could not be the partner, negotiation partner for any reconstruction process. So that is the big gap big discrepancy between the Hamas and Israeli, the peace negotiation, because Israel cannot make a permanent ceasefire if the Hamas stands still in Gaza.
Well, Professor Paik, before the offensive by Israeli military forces in Rafah began, the U.S. over the weekend reportedly put a hold on an ammunition shipment to Israel. Where did this pause come from?
Man, there's no doubt the United States firmly stands to provide security protection to Israel. I mean, the United States has already spent billions of dollars in security assistance to Israel since the October 7 attacks. And last month, Biden signed a foreign aid bill that includes 26 billion for Israel-Hamas conflict, including 15 billion in Israel military aid. But the reason for this pause is simple. U.S. officials including Biden, are concerned about a potential Israeli operation in Rafah. where more than a million, like what I say, 1.2 million Palestinians have been sheltering. So they are kind of worried that Israel military might steer the international criminal court for the war criminals, and the United States doesn't want Israel to fall into that category, because then it will be a big problem for the U.S. foreign policy, who have been supporting the Israel Defense Forces.
Well, indeed. And it's not just Israeli offensive in Rafah. Israel has also shut down the Al Jazeera offices in Israel, calling the media, quote, a mouthpiece for Hamas. Isn't this going to be a headache for Qatar, which has been trying to so hard to bridge Israel and Hamas?
Not necessarily. I mean, the reporting on the Israel-Hamas conflict may be restricted, but the negotiation process is dealt by the government themselves. So bridging between Israel and Hamas won't be much affected. Rather, in the long term, it will be a headache for the Israel. The United Nations Human Rights Office already urged the Israel government to overturn this ban, and many of the international organizations are raising concern of Israel turning into authoritarian regime. So the repercussion of this, the ban or restricting the shutting out the Al Jazeera broadcasting won't be small. So the Israel after the war will gonna answer many of the questions that was kind of like arise by the international community.
Definitely. Israel will have to face those. All right, Professor Paik, thank you so much for your insight this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.